Now today, the mood in Kashmir, Srinagar was full of festive fervour, jubilation and hope. Hope for peace, progress and development. That until August of 2019 had eluded the valley, as Kashmir remained in the grips of unrest and uncertainty for decades. But today, Prime Minister Modi took the stage amid thunderous applause and cheers in Srinagar's Bakshi Stadium, his words resonating with hope and determination for a Viksit Kashmir. Making an emotional pitch at the packed stadium, the Prime Minister trained his guns at opposition NC and PDP. Referring to Jammu and Kashmir as a victim of Parivarvad and corruption, Prime Minister Modi condemned dynasty politics and accused Congress and its allies of misleading people in the name of Article 370. While Jammu and Kashmir finally hopes for a better future unburdened by the shadows of the past, we pose the big question tonight on Prime Minister's Kashmir outreach. Will Vikas boost BJP in the valley? And before we do that, two paradigms are indicators of the change in Jammu and Kashmir. One is the economic side. Let's also have a quick look at what the economy of Jammu and Kashmir has been like in terms of the transformation, the investment proposals of 88,915 crore versus total investment of 15,000 crore till 2019. Now, what has happened in terms of handicraft exports? Well, they've doubled from 563 crore in 2021 till 2022 to 1,116 crore rupees in 2022 up till 23. Now 2.11 crore tourists have visited Kashmir in 2023. This has been highest since independence. 4.45 lakh yatris have visited Amarnath Shrine in 2023. This has been the highest in the last 10 years. Also, 9 tourist routes and 30 trekking routes have opened in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh post the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. New flights from Srinagar to Sharjah and night flights from Jammu have taken place all the way to Srinagar. Let's also now focus on the second paradigm, and that is the security scenario, the security apparatus that the government at the centre has provided to the valley. Let's compare the figures from 2018 up till 2023 as far as December of 2023 is concerned. If you can see, the terror incidents in 2018 were at 228 versus 44 in 23. Encounters from 189 have gone down to 48 in the year 2023. Civilians killed from 55 to 13 last year. Security personnel killed has gone down from 91 to 26. Also, if you look at stone pelting incidents, remember this was a major problem in the valley. In 2018, the figure stood at 1,221. It's down to 0. Same is the case with shutdowns, which were at 52 back. Now in 2023 December, they've been reported to be 0. We'll be deep diving into this topic, but in just a bit.
मैं ये मेहनत आपका दिल जीतने के लिए कर रहा हूं और मैं दिनों दिन देख रहा हूं कि मैं आपका दिल जीतने की दिशा में सही दिशा में जा रहा हूं। आपका दिल मैं जीत पाया हूं और ज्यादा जीतने की कोशिश मेरी जारी रहेगी। ये वो नया जम्मू कश्मीर है जिसका इंतजार हम सभी को कई दशकों से था। इस नए जम्मू कश्मीर की आंखों में भविष्य की चमक है। इस नए जम्मू कश्मीर के इरादों में चुनौतियों को पार करने का हौसला है। आज श्रीनगर जम्मू कश्मीर ही नहीं, पूरे देश के लिए पर्यटन की नई पहल कर रहा है। जम्मू कश्मीर में परिवारवाद और भ्रष्टाचार का एक बहुत बड़ी भुक्तभोगी रही है हमारी जे&के बैंक। सियासी फायदे के लिए कांग्रेस और उसके साथियों ने 370 के नाम पर जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को गुमराह किया, देश को गुमराह किया।
Will Vikas boost BJP in the valley? That's the big question we'll be posing to our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined at the moment by Sanju Verma, who's the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm also joined in by Salman Soz, who's the national spokesperson for the Congress Party. Mr. Soz, if I could begin with you. A packed Bakshi Stadium, something that we all witnessed. Prime Minister received with a thunderous applause. Could you imagine such a scenario before August of 2019?
Well, as the former Chief Minister himself, Umar Abdullah, just tweeted, I think last night, it was packed, and we knew it was going to be packed, and it was packed by a lot of government servants who were forced who were basically bussed early in the morning hours, 5 a.m. or so. They were asked to report. Many people, I can't name them, but there are thousands upon thousands of people. Of course, they don't have any choice because they're government employees. Private, lots of buses and other things were commandeered. So, we know that the Prime Minister...
But Mr. Soz, I just want to know, could you imagine a gathering of such huge numbers prior to 2019?
No, let me tell you that we've had huge gatherings of political gatherings in Kashmir much before this time. From 2010, in the election of 2011, when we had the Panchayat elections, 2014 elections, we have huge gatherings out here. So please do not tell us about Bakshi Stadium, which is a small stadium, and where you can actually take all of these people. So you may think that this is something that you've not seen. Maybe you're not aware. But people who live here, and by the way, I'm here in Kashmir today, we know political rallies have happened all the time. And by the way, this is not the first Prime Minister who has come to Kashmir and interacted with people. He interacted with
nobody's saying that he is the first Prime Minister who's come to Kashmir and interacted.
No, I'm just saying...
Right. Mr. Soz, I've given you enough time to speak. Let me also go... Yes, we'll have enough time to,
Fine.
Right. Please hold on for a moment, as I'm also joined in by Salman Nizami, who is the chief spokesperson of the DPAP. Mr. Nizami, if I could ask you about Viksit Kashmir, when the Prime Minister talks of how today the valley stands and has used the term Viksit Kashmir, how have you seen the valley transform post 2019? Has it transformed at all?
Well, there is no doubt that incidents of stone pelting has been decreased in Kashmir after revocation of Article 370. But militancy is still there. It's a concern for all of us because Kashmir is part of India. So we witnessed killing of innocent Kashmiri Pandits and Sikhs. Also, the migrant laborers, one migrant laborer from Jalandhar was recently shot dead in Srinagar. So the claims by BJP after revocation of Article 370 that militancy will end. So the things have not changed on ground. You can't claim that militancy is gone. It's still there. Also in the Jammu province, when Ghulam Nabi Azad was chief minister, so there was almost no militant incident in Jammu province. But now...
All right, Salman, I do agree with you that targeted killings continue to happen in the valley, but I have the figures with me over here. And let's not question the figures. 228 terrorist-initiated incidents gone down to 44 from the year 2018 to 2023. What are these figures then? Sanju Verma, if I could bring you in on everything that Salman has said, and also Salman Nizami.
I did not heckle anyone, Akanksha. I need my time, please.
Let me clear. Give me 1 minute. 370, there were only two things in 370. Land protection and job protection. Militancy had nothing to do with Article 370. Terrorism was there for more than...
Are you not... The Prime Minister himself, in his speech in 2019, had gone on record to say that Article 370 was being used as a weapon by Pakistan to sow poison in the minds of the young Kashmiri youth.
who built this
Stone
tulip
pelting,
garden.
terrorism. These are all a byproduct of that poison that's been sown by Pakistan.
The railway, the
May I please
4-lane
come in
project.
now?
Right.
I've
You
been
said,
listening to
Salman,
everyone.
Salman,
70
I urge you to give the third panelist also a chance to speak. Sanjay ji, please go ahead.
2014,
This is
There was a
unfair. If he continues heckling, I don't wish to engage in a tutu-meme debate because I need my time. I did not interrupt anybody.
Right, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, Akanksha, first things first, what was the stadium like in terms of the crowd that had gathered at the Bakshi Stadium? Was it an organic crowd or were these BJP office bearers on hire, which is what Mehbooba Mufti would have you believe? I think these are trivial issues. Let's focus on the core issue. And the core issue at hand, I'm so glad you put those numbers out. If you translate that into percentages, be it the number of civilians killed, be it the number of security personnel killed, be it the number of stone pelting incidents, be it the number of terror-related incidents, post the abrogation of Article 370, these have come down by anywhere between 67 to 99% or even more. So I think that's a great beginning. Point number two, I would like to take your audience back to just a very historic judgment on the 11th of December 2023. And it won't take me more than 20 seconds to read ad verbatim what a 3-judge bench led by Justice Chandrachud said. Because Akanksha, every debate on Kashmir has revolved around whether the abrogation of Article 370 was even constitutional to start with, and people said, oh, Narendra Modi government has usurped powers that it did not have. So, to just set the narrative straight on that one, CJI Chandrachud clearly said there was a proclamation issued on the 25th of November 1949 by the then Yuvraj Karan Singh, which clearly states, post the declaration of this proclamation, the Constitution of India supersedes every other constitutional provision that may have existed pertaining to the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, which in effect means that the union government, the Modi government in this case, has the right to bring in new laws, abrogate and repeal all laws pertaining to Jammu and Kashmir.
All right. Sanju, point taken. Salman Nizami, in fact, Mr. Soz, I know you've been very patiently waiting. I request you to hold on for another minute. Salman Nizami, you just heard that point that Sanju was making, a very valid one. I want to keep, this is something I wonder every time I hear the opposition parties attack the whole abrogation of Article 370, something that has already been pronounced by the highest judicial body of the country. Why do so?
In every TV debate, BJP leaders, even Sanju Verma, we had a lot of TV debates on Article 370. They claimed that 370 was a hurdle. So after revocation of Article 370, Kashmiri Pandits will return back to Kashmir. So I want to ask Ms. Anju Verma that how many Kashmiri Pandits have returned back to Kashmir after revocation of Article 370? Modi ji was totally mum on Kashmiri Pandits. He did not announce any package.
Right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Nizami, you asked a question. Now please be tolerant enough to listen to my response. Thank you, Mr. Nizami. You can't keep on rattling. You asked a question, now show some courtesy and some patience.
Salman Nizami, I urge you to please be patient and courteous and... let's be civil over here with our co-panelists.
This is unfair. He wants
Salman, I urge you to please maintain silence at the moment. Let's also listen into what Sanju has to say. Sanju, please.
Thank you. So, I just have a couple of points to make which completely crush this false narrative that Article 370 के abrogation के बाद कुछ हुआ ही नहीं. First and foremost, let's make this very clear that the discrimination which existed prior to the abrogation between permanent residents. Can you please keep quiet? Akanksha, what kind of
Sanju, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Some people refuse to be quiet. You'll have to. I urge you to please continue saying what you are saying.
Mr. Nizami, please keep quiet. I will speak what I need to speak. You will not put words into my mouth.
Mr.
Thank
Nizami.
you so much.
Right. Please go ahead, Sanju.
Yeah. First and foremost, this entire discrimination which existed, Akanksha, prior to the abrogation of Article 370 between permanent residents and those who are not classified as permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. That discrimination is done and dusted and done away with. Point number two, Now anybody can go and buy land. You know, you, me, any commercial enterprise. And because of Article 370, there was an artificial scarcity of land, due to which no industrial enterprise, among other things, was willing to come and set up shop in Kashmir, which is not the case anymore. Prior to abrogation of Article 370, Valmikis, forget about standing for elections, they did not even enjoy the right to vote. Today, a Valmiki can also aspire for the highest office in the J&K assembly. Then look at the Bakarwals and Gujars. They always had the scheduled tribe status. But Prime Minister Modi, after the abrogation of Article 370, gave the status of scheduled tribes to Pahadi Kashmirs as well. And 70% of Pahadi Kashmiris are actually Muslims. So this again nails the narrative that Narendra Modi government is anti-Muslim. And I want to tell you, today there are direct flights between Srinagar and the UAE. Today, on an average, in the last 3 years, the footfall of tourists is more than 1.5 crore every single year. And tourism is what drives the Kashmiri economy. And last but not the least, I want to tell that today, thanks to the abrogation of Article 370, you have Jammu and Kashmir converted from a power deficit to a power surplus state.
Sanju, you said what you had to.
Units are willing to set
You
up
said what you had to, Sanju. We also have Ifra Jan, who's the spokesperson of the National Conference Party. Many thanks to you, Ifra, for joining in, though a tad bit late. But when you talk about Viksit Kashmir, we have a host of projects here with us as far as data is also concerned. You're looking at agriculture, you're looking at connectivity, you're looking at tourism. They've all been given a push, apart from how the security apparatus also has kicked in. When you look at all the data that we have assimilated, something we shared with our viewers earlier also, would you also still say or maintain that there has been no Vikas in Kashmir?
You see, if there was Vikas in Kashmir and if the BJP actually believed its own numbers, the BJP would not have been running from elections for past 10 years. The BJP would not have been terrified of facing the people. If these numbers were true, the BJP would have actually believed them and said, because we have done so much, we are very excited to see and we are very excited to be voted into power by the people of Jammu and Kashmir, because we know that we have done a lot of change and these people will vote us into power. Except it was the Supreme Court of India that had to force this government to conduct an election, because this government was in absolutely no mood to face the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
I don't know which elections are you talking about, because we are having elections.
If you could just let me speak, Miss.
Elections are all set to happen in some days from now. You just said that elections are not happening.
If they've have
she's obviously not read up and she's come and she's blathering.
I'm not quite sure how this works. You know, if you're not allowing me to speak.
No, I was just making a slight correction over there. Please finish what you were saying.
Yeah, you're saying that elections are happening, except the Election Commission has not announced them, and it was the Supreme Court's direction that they will be conducting, if they will be conducted. Coming to second point, coming to today's Prime Minister's rally, the irony of the situation is that even the promises that used to be made to the people of Jammu and Kashmir until last year, किया कुछ नहीं था, but promise करते थे कम से कम that the statehood would be restored. Even those promises aren't being made anymore. At least we used to be told that a job package for our youth will be announced. This year there was no job package announced for youth.
Are you treating statehood as part of Vikas? Is statehood Vikas? Is statehood part of Vikas? No, it's
no,
really...
I want to come in here.
It beats me over there. All right, Sanju, before I come to you, let me... Mr. Soos has been very patiently awaiting his turn. Mr. Soos, please.
So let me address 3 points that you all seem to be talking about, and Mr. Modi seems to have worked out some magic. Let's talk about your numbers, because your numbers are flawed. You just take about 1 year. Let's talk about the 5 years since 2019 and what has happened to terrorism. In the 5 years from 2019, according to the South Asia Terrorism Portal, 1,265 people have died as a result of terror incidents in J&K. In 2009 to 2013, a 5-year period, 1,208 people died. Fewer people died between 2009 and... So this is the South Asia Terrorism Portal. So this nonsense about
No,
terrorism having declined.
but the South Asia, South Asia port. No, I am interrupting you because those figures are flawed. Let me tell you, 42,000 people died prior to 2019 over a period of 2-3 years.
Exactly.
42,000 innocent lives were lost. Yes, Sanju, please go ahead.
May
I please come in?
Please.
May I please come in? Now he's lying.
All right, Mr. Soos, she wants to come back to that point.
No, but let me finish.
No, those are serious charges if you are going by those figures. You've completely overlooked figures of last year. You're overlooking tourism, Mr. Soos. You're overlooking the economy.
I'm coming to tourism.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about
May I
agriculture.
please come in?
I'm coming to tourism.
We've seen
1.5
people from
CR.
ground zero, the traders talk about the kind of push.
Listen.
The women go on record to say
listen
that
and
our
let your
brothers would
audience
leave for work,
listen.
never come back in the evening. The
You
killings
listen
have
and
gone
let
down.
your- Listen and let your
May I
audience
please come in?
Yes,
listen to
yes,
me because you
Sanjay ji.
people are lying
Sanjay
to
ji,
them.
please.
Akanksha, you'll have
So
to
you're
take my
saying
advice.
that the ordinary Kashmiri woman today is lying?
Speak so much. Why? Let the country know.
You know, this country is shouting
that
match.
1.5 CR
You will have to
tourists
moderate
are
the debate, Akanksha.
Mr.
there.
Soos, are you saying that the people of Kashmir who have come on camera today are lying?
J&K.
Mr. Soos, my question's very basic. Are those people
Yes.
who are coming on camera to say that yes, our lives have changed,
Let
there
me
are
tell
lesser
you, let
killings?
me tell you, Akanksha, please. Let us talk about numbers because you threw some numbers out. And Sanju also talked about some numbers. She said that 1.5 crore tourists came to Jammu and Kashmir. That's what the numbers she said, right? I didn't say it. These are, and if now go back and check in 2012. 1.3 crore
you are giving
people
free
came to Jammu
run
and
to this
Kashmir, and the
man.
reason for
He's
that
blabbering
is this is
non-stop
religious
without
tourism. That is Mata
The
Vaishno Devi
contemporary
gets the
data
bulk
at his
of
fingertips.
the tourist
He's quoting
traffic.
all data as per his
You
convenience
people are
to peddle
misleading the people
falsehoods.
of the country.
Salman
You
Soos,
people are
stop
lying to
peddling
the people
rabid
of the
lies on the
country
show.
for
Salman
one
Soos,
night.
Salman Soos, no, Salman
You will
Soos, tell
not
me,
let
is
it
it
stand.
not true that members of the Valmiki community could only become
It is true.
sweepers
It is
till
wait a
the
second.
abrogation happened?
Let me address that too, because you people
No, you can't
didn't
keep
Sanju
giving him
Verma
time
say
to
No,
speak.
Sanju,
We
that's a
are
question I have
listening to
posed.
this
Yes,
man.
that's a question I have
Let me address-
posed. Salman, you've said what you had to. You wanted to share
Because you
figures.
people are
We've let
lying
you.
to-
Feels like a
May I please?
Don't lie
this
to the
feels
country.
like a republic
May I
debate
please
on
comment?
an
Akanksha, you are
Sanju,
not
please
moderating
go
the
ahead.
debate.
Right, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank
Sanju.
you. Akanksha, first things first. It was in 2015, barely a year after coming to the helm of affairs, that Narendra Modi, in his capacity as Prime Minister, declared a 86,000 crore package for Jammu and Kashmir.
How much of that
Where is it?
93%.
Where is it?
Answer, I refuse
Where
to
is
debate.
it?
Ifra and Salman, please let
Tell
Sanju
us.
finish her point.
Where
Let's
is the-
No, I
maintain
refuse to
some
debate like this.
codes of
Where has the
courtesy.
money gone?
I
Where has the
refuse
money
to
gone?
debate. You can debate with the others
No,
because you refuse to
Sanju,
debate.
Sanju,
Where
I
is the
request
money?
you, I urge you to stay.
86,000
Salman
crore.
and
No, you are
Ifra,
not giving
please.
time to speak.
Salman and Ifra,
Why is there youth
please,
unemployment
let's
of
keep it a
26?
healthy debate and discussion. This is appalling if
She
one
get-
of the guests
she-
has to
we
leave.
get- we-
No.
We will not
You need
allow
to
you
give
to. We
equal
will
time
not
to
allow
people
anyone
to
to
speak
lie to the
honestly.
We are
people of the
giving you
country.
time to speak. Sanju, please
You
finish
don't
your
give
point.
equal
Fair.
time
You are
to
not
every
able to
journalist.
give time to speak.
Please
You are not able
speak.
to
You
can't
moderate the
just-
debate.
No, I am
Speak, not
asking
let the other
Ifra and
panelists
Salman both. I'll be coming to you. Let's give Sanju 1 minute to
want to
speak
ask
and
a
I'll come back to you.
question to-
I will come back to you, Salman and Ifra. Let Sanju speak.
Give all panelists equal
Yes,
time
I
to
will be
speak. That's
coming
all
back
what
to
I'm
you.
saying.
What is it that is not registering right now,
Because
Ifra?
you're interrupting
No,
us and you don't interrupt her.
I will be interrupting her if there's
You
something I
interrupt
disagree
us and you
with.
do not
The figures
interrupt
are there
her.
for
It's
you
just
to
unfair
see. This
and
data is there for you to see. Ifra, let's proceed now.
You know, you don't lower their faders and you eat into my time. What kind of a debate is this?
Sanju, please
This
go
is
ahead.
unfair.
Sanju, please go ahead and finish what
I've
you're
never
saying.
faced this problem with Zaka ever, Akanksha. I'm sorry
Sanju,
to
please
say
go
this.
ahead and finish what you are saying. And Ifra and Salman, please respect the code of conduct as far as this entire debate is concerned. I will come to you and I have promised you that I will be giving you time.
Thank you. I repeat, 86,000 crore package announced by Narendra Modi way back in 2015, a year after he became the Prime Minister. 93.7% of that package has not only been allocated but disbursed. Most of the projects are complete. Look at the Chenani Nashri tunnel, for example. It was started under the Congress regime of Manmohan Singh way back in 2010-11. It took a Narendra Modi to see to fruition in 2017. And the same goes for the Banihal Kazigund tunnel. Now, the most important point is this. I will not talk about the 32,000 crore projects that were launched last year, or the 28,000 crore GST linked package that was announced in 2021, or the 6,400 crore projects that have been, announced today by the Prime Minister. I say that at the heart of Kashmir, when we talk of Kashmiriyat, Insaniyat, Jamhuriyat, do you recall the last time the tricolor was hoisted? It happened after 3 decades in January 2022. And it is thanks to Narendra Modi that Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's Ek Nishan, Ek Vidhan, Ek Samvidhan today is a reality, which is such a hard pill to swallow for rabid bigots like, Salman Soz and this Ifra Jan, who comes to debates without homework and only comes and blabbers Modi, Modi, Modi.
All right, Sanju, you said what you had to. May I now go to Ifra, please? Ifra, Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. That was also the idea behind abrogation of Article 370. How do you place this into perspective now when you look at the valley be an integral part of the entire country, especially with regards to the issue of statehood?
Since I've already talked about statehood and said even the promise of statehood that the BJP used to make until last year, they've stopped even promising the bare minimum. So forget about that. They've humiliated the people of Jammu and Kashmir by degrading us into a UT, and they continue to humiliate the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Nobody is degrading no one.
Sanju, please let them speak. They let you speak, Sanju. They let you speak. Please let them speak.
What do you mean degrading?
Sanju, please let them speak.
Really can't be speaking.
To declare a state as a union territory and to change the demography.
Sanju, I urge you to let them speak because they allowed you to speak.
Jammu and Kashmir in this. What do you mean degrading? Please use your words with greater discretion.
Sanju, we cannot go ahead. We cannot go ahead with the discussion.
Let me explain. It means, let me explain to Sanju the word degrading. It means that debating you.
No, this is not degrading. It is changing the status.
Yeah, I will explain what the word degrading means.
Sanju, please.
It was changing the status.
Please let Ifra finish her point. Sanju, I urge you to let Ifra finish her point. Yes, point taken.
Yes. What does the word degrading mean? The word degrading means that 1 crore 30 lakh residents of Jammu and Kashmir could make laws on all the state subjects prior to 2019. Now,
why should JNK have a separate constitution? Why should JNK have a separate set of laws?
How do you really do that?
All right, Salman Soz, let's stick to Vikas. When we talk about Vikas, I would like to refer to... No, Ifra.
Why should JNK have a separate set of laws that discriminate against scheduled castes and scheduled tribes? Do you know something? Akanksha, even the Criminal Procedure Code of 1973 was not applicable prior to the abrogation. Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 was not applicable. Income Tax Act of 1861 was not applicable. The Indian Penal Code of 1860 was not applicable. Even the Cinematography Act of 1952 was not applicable.
All right,
the
Salman Soz.
Act of 1978
all right, Salman Soz,
do you still
concur, Salman Soz, with everything that Sanju is saying?
I mean, first of all,
central laws are applicable today.
Sanju, if you could let Salman speak. Sanju, you made your points.
Sanju needs to keep quiet.
Right, Sanju, please give Salman Soz at least a minute to speak.
So, look, anybody who tells you, and I'm not addressing any of you, I'm addressing the country. Anybody who says that Article 370 meant then J&K was not an integral part of India, they are being totally obnoxious. Article 370 had nothing to do with that. Article 370 was a kind of relationship not very different from what exists between the Union and states in the Northeast. This was, as Salman Nizami also said, it had things to do about our identity, our land, jobs, etc., those kinds of things. It had nothing. By the way, if Article 370 was responsible for terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, why was there no terrorism between early 1950s when Article 370 was brought in?
How convincing is that? Salman Soz, I want to ask you. No, Sanju, I'm coming to that.
Why did it not happen earlier?
What's the question?
Salman Soz, the question is that
Mohan Singh was giving a
have you
ki jhappi
convinced
to
the
yahan
Jammu
se
region to reinstate Article
Why
370?
was
I'm
Manmohan
sorry,
Singh giving
what?
a
I'm
jadoo
sorry.
ki jhappi to
When you
yahan
talk
se-
about
I want to-
reinstating
why
Article
don't you,
370,
Sanju, look,
nobody
Sanju,
wants
be
Article
respectful or do
370
not
to
come
be
to debate on
reinstated.
television.
Salman, listen to me. That's my question to you.
Yes,
when
what
you
is it?
when you talk about ground sentiment, whether it is Jammu or Kashmir, nobody wants Article 370 to be reinstated.
Who told you that? Who told you
The
that? Which
reports
world are
very
you living
much
in?
Salman,
Which
you are
the
being
people
world
of
elected
do
Jammu
not
and
look?
the people of
Akansha,
Kashmir.
Salman, are you
you're a
blind
TV
or are you
anchor.
deaf?
You are a TV anchor. Stay a TV anchor. Don't become a BJP.
No,
propaganda.
Salman,
Now,
please.
who the
I
hell
take
are the
offense
people
to
of
that.
Jammu?
I
If you
take
go to-
offense to that.
if you go to Jammu,
While I
if
agree
you go
that
to
people
Jammu,
of
if you
Kashmir.
go to forget Kashmir, if you go to Jammu, you will hear what people have to say
Akansha, I
about
want
the
to just
BJP.
answer that.
You go to Ladakh, see what's happening in Ladakh. What
I will
people
answer
are
that.
out
Can
You
in
know,
the
Salman,
streets.
since you've already
What are they
accused me
asking
of
for?
being a BJP
Everybody's
stooge,
asking
might as well let
for-
BJP come back to that.
Everybody's asking
May I
for
please
their
answer that?
rights.
Akansha?
Everybody's asking for dignity.
All right,
You
yes,
have to
asking
ignore
for-
this man's
Sanju,
figure. He's been
Sanju,
talking
please
This
go
is-
ahead.
this is
Please
not-
go ahead.
This is not how
All
you-
right, Salman, you've
Sanju
said what you
Verma,
had to. Let's
please
also
keep
listen into
quiet,
what
let
Sanju
other
is saying.
people speak.
Right,
Okay,
you've said
just,
what
you
you
know,
had to.
Yeah,
Akansha, Salman Shah needs to hear something, which is the unpalatable truth. The fact of the matter is that in 2020, you had the DDC elections being held in November, December of 2020. And I remember that the Gupkar alliance was a hodgepodge of 7 parties. The BJP was all alone. All alone, we won 75 seats. We emerged as the single largest party.
Yeah, go
And
and
these
have a
7
state,
parties
have an
come
election,
together
have a
and
proper
they could
election.
not win more than 108 seats.
Point late ho. Have a
7
regular
parties
election,
came
you'll be
together
wiped
in the
out.
DDC
BJP
elections
is so
and could
scared
still
of
not
not
win more than
BJP is so
107
scared
or
not to have
108
elections
odd
in
seats.
JNK. What are
BJP
you
at
talking about?
75 seats was the
All
single
right.
largest party in the DDC election.
All right,
अगर
it's
75
just very unfortunate that we've not been able to deduce any kind of conclusion, but that also goes on to say how polarized the valley is as far as the political minds are
Not
concerned.
just the valley, Jammu and Kashmir.
No,
not just valley.
Mr.
Don't
Soos,
forget
I'd
Jammu and
like to
Kashmir.
only quote the Supreme Court as I close this debate, that going by the historical context of Article 370, the abrogation was called for. That's what the Supreme Court had to say in its verdict. Many thanks to you, esteemed panelists, for joining in on Brass Tacks. And with that, in fact, we have some breaking inputs coming in amid the probe into the Bengaluru blast. Top intelligence sources have now, in fact, revealed to CNN News 18 that the blast accused was very careful. This has been seen in the CCTV visuals. It seems he possibly changed his clothes and his movement, remember, which has been tracked via the CCTV visuals, was done by him multiple times. It seems he changed his clothes in a mosque, which is a clear indication that he was aware of this mosque and knew where to change his clothes. Agencies have also said that he is visible up till Bellary. For more details, let's quickly go across to Harish Upadhyay. Harish, important to establish how the CCTV footage has in fact pieced together as far as the facial identity of the suspect is concerned and his movement. What are those vital cues that the agency has been able to draw upon?
Two major leads today. One, the CCTV from a BMTC bus in Bengaluru has established his facial identity. So far, it was just from a side angle. Now you have the whole face being seen in the CCTV footage. The second major lead is that he had traveled towards Tumkuru and finally Bellary. That's where the trail has been spotted. In a CCTV that's at a Bellary bus stand, he's been spotted there. But worryingly, two things that we need to mention here. One, NIA sources suggesting that they haven't managed to gain anything on where he has gone from Bellary, where he absconded from there on. That there is no lead on that aspect so far. The second is, remember, this incident has happened on first night, March 1st night is when he has been in Bellary according to the CCTV footage there. So from March 1st night till today, there's been a lot of time for this accused to go somewhere else. So where did he head? The investigation becomes challenging for that reason, that the accused, the suspect has got so much time to travel, one. Second, if he slips into a rural area, it becomes all the more difficult because of lesser CCTV coverage in these areas to gain anything in terms of a technical evidence, technical lead. And they will have to be completely dependent on any mistake that the suspect might do.
All right, many thanks to you, Harish, for bringing in all those latest inputs. And in fact, we have some more breaking inputs coming in. We're learning that the CBI has busted a major human trafficking network. Searches are currently underway at more than 10 locations in 7 cities, including Delhi, Trivandrum, Mumbai, Ambala, Chandigarh, Madurai, even Chennai. A case has also been registered against various visa consultancy firms and agents on allegations of hiring and sending youths to Russia-Ukraine war zone in the guise of lucrative jobs. In fact, let's quickly go across to Arunima, who brings us the details. Arunima, at a time when we've seen how Indians have been stuck in Russia, what is one to make of this information? How many instances of victims have emerged so far?
At least 35 is the number from CBI, that in 35 instances, victims have been sent abroad. That detail has reached them. So far, over 50 lakh rupees incriminating documents, electronic records like laptops, mobiles, etc. have been seized, which shows how these visa consultancy firms and their agents were misleading youngsters, gullible youngsters, promising them lucrative jobs, promising them a better life, and instead selling them off to private warmongering organizations which are involved, the private militia which is involved in the Russia-Ukraine war, so selling these people off and then not allowing them to come back. So at least 35 instances have come before CBI. 2 Indians lost their lives, at least that confirmation has come in. And tragically, CBI intervened when it was a little too late for the family members of those 2. But for the others, the hope is that the CBI's intervention will prevent from further loss of life and further luring of youngsters to fight in this war.
Many thanks to you, Arunima, for bringing in all those latest inputs. Now, the Indian Navy on Wednesday commissioned its new base INS Jatayu at the Minicoy island of Lakshadweep to bolster its operational capability and reach in the Indian Ocean region. The naval base will also enhance operational reach and support the Indian Navy's efforts in anti-piracy and anti-narcotics operations in the West Arabian Sea. Defense experts are looking at this move as a brilliant checkmate to Maldives' growing proximity with China. My colleague Akash Sharma gets us this report. Let's have a quick look. With rising concerns over maritime security amidst expanding Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region, India has inaugurated INS Jatayu, a new naval base located at the southernmost tip of the Lakshadweep Islands in the Western Indian Ocean region.
Jatayu in Ramayana was the first responder and gave significant situational awareness to Lord Ram. In the same way, INS Jatayu here on Minicoy Island will play the role, and in fact an important role for Indian Navy in the Western Indian Ocean region. The southernmost tip of Lakshadweep Islands, and in fact the base has been commissioned and will now be developed in terms of advancements and capabilities.
The Indian Navy had a detachment in Minicoy, but now a fully fledged base will enhance the Navy's operational capabilities in the area.
I'm present at INS Jatayu here on Lakshadweep Islands, and behind me is the commissioning ceremony of INS Jatayu that is happening as of now. You are seeing all these Navy personnel and also the new naval ensign of INS Jatayu.
INS Jatayu marks the start of a phased expansion plan to bolster India's surveillance and security posture near the 9-degree channel. The facility currently has ship docking and other platforms with plans to include deployment of airstrips, advanced sensors, radars and BrahMos missiles on the island.
This is the southernmost part of the Lakshadweep Island, and as far as this base is concerned, so this base will work as eyes and ears for Indian Navy. When we talk about maritime domain, so we know that how crucial Lakshadweep Islands are at a point when China is constantly expanding its reach in the Indian Ocean region. This base is giving a larger message.
Lakshadweep and Minicoy Islands are strategically located in the Arabian Sea. Several shipping lanes pass from near these islands. It was in 2012 that the naval detachment at Kavaratti was commissioned as a naval establishment, INS Dweep Rakshak. With the commissioning of a second base in Lakshadweep, India's maritime force will have an edge.
I'm on board INS Vikrant, and joining me now is the Indian Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar. Sir, first of all, today Indian Navy has got a new base, INS Jatayu. If you can talk to us on the importance and the significance of this base now.
It is the southernmost island in the Laccadive chain, is the southernmost island on the western seaboard, and it is about 200 miles from the mainland. So therefore, if you are able to have a base with the capability to improve surveillance as well as respond when there is required, so that actually adds to the capability of Bharat and Nausena to have better maritime domain awareness and better ability to respond. So we are looking at, once you commission it, we should be able to develop more operational infrastructure, more administrative facilities and so on.
At a time when the Indian Navy has been carrying out operations in the Gulf of Aden and in the Arabian Sea, this new base will act as a vital hub for counter-piracy and anti-narcotics operations in the region.
The commissioning of INS Jatayu is a major step forward in India's maritime security strategy. It further strengthens India's position in the Indian Ocean as net security provider. With INS Jatayu, Indian Navy is underscoring its commitment for the peace and stability in the whole Indian Ocean region. With cameraman Ramashankar, this is Akash Sharma from Minicoy Island for CNN News 18.
All right, we're cutting to a short break, but up next is a deep dive on the coalition power plays in Pakistan as Shehbaz Sharif takes the reign of the federal government amid mounting opposition from the Imran Khan camp. The Sharif clan has been battling political and economic turmoil amid low public support. CNN News 18's Zaka Jacob decodes all that, but after a quick break.
Presented by
वेबसाइट पे 2023 में 5000 केजी शहद बिके हैं और धीरे धीरे करके ये सफर आगे बढ़ा सर। मैंने 2000 मधुमक्खी के बक्से बना लिए और मेरे साथ मैंने अकेला ही काम नहीं किया। मैंने सोचा खुद ही मैं अपना बेनिफिट नहीं लूंगा, मैं और को बढ़ावा दूंगा, अपनी यूथ को इसके साथ जोड़ूंगा। धीरे धीरे करके मेरे साथ लगभग 100 बंदे सर जुड़ गए जो ये मधुमक्खी का काम करते हैं। 100 जोड़ने के बाद धीरे धीरे मैं सर आगे बढ़ा और 2023 में मुझे सर एफपीओ मिला और एफपीओ के मिलने के बाद अब हमारे पास सर कोई टेंशन ही नहीं। अब तो हम एफपीओ के थ्रू मार्केटिंग लिंकेजेस, एक स्टॉल लगाने पर सर हमें एक स्टॉल में हमने 1 लाख रुपए कमाया और वो भी सर डिजिटली। हमें दिक्कत होती थी पहले जब एग्जीबिशंस में जाते थे 1 लाख रुपए जेब में कैसे घूमते थे सर, क्योंकि आज हमारा यूपीआई सिस्टम है। आजकल हमारी 98% पेमेंट डिजिटली हो रही है, तो डिजिटली ट्रांसफॉर्म होने के बाद सर उसके साथ हम भी आगे बढ़े, देश के साथ हम भी सर आगे बढ़े। थैंक्स सर।
नाजिम जी, जब पढ़ाई करते थे तब क्या सपना था?
सर जिस टाइम पे मैं 10वीं जमात में था तो मेरा सपना, पहले घर वाले मुझे बोलते थे आप डॉक्टर बनो, आप इंजीनियर बनो, तो मैंने घर वालों का मैं नहीं सुनता था। मैंने सोचा सर मैं अपना दिल का सुनूंगा। तो मैं जब 2 बक्सों के पास गया था तो मैंने सोचा नहीं, मुझे डॉक्टर और इंजीनियर में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, जो मुझे खुद लगे मैं वो करूंगा। और धीरे धीरे के सर करके मैंने अपना मधुमक्खी का काम संभाला।
परिवार आपकी क्षमता को जानता था, आप डॉक्टर बन सकते थे, लेकिन आपने वो रास्ता नहीं चुना और आपने एक प्रकार से स्वीट रिवॉल्यूशन, हमने ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन सुना है, हमने व्हाइट रिवॉल्यूशन सुना है, आज मेरा कश्मीर नाजिम जैसे युवाओं के कारण स्वीट रिवॉल्यूशन का नेतृत्व कर रहा है। बहुत बहुत बधाई। अच्छा नाजिम जी, आपकी इस पहल में जैसा आपने बनाया, सरकार की योजनाएं रही, लेकिन शुरुआत में शायद सरकार में योजनाओं का लाभ लेने में दिक्कत आई होगी, या सरलता से आपको समझ आया, मिलता गया?
सर 2018 की बात अगर मैं करूं तो मैं पुलवामा, बारामूला, गांदरबल, अनंतनाग सब डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में गया सर, क्योंकि मेरी तड़प थी कि मैं इस मधुमक्खी के काम में काम करूं, मगर कहीं पे मुझे उस टाइम पे सपोर्ट नहीं मिला। मैं एक एक बंदे के पास गया, लास्ट में डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर के पास गया और उन्होंने मेरा हाथ थाम दिया और सफर आगे बढ़ता रहा।
नाजिम जी, देखिए, मधुमक्खी का ये व्यवसाय जो एक बिल्कुल नया क्षेत्र होता है और आप बहुत आसानी से कर सकते हैं और उसके कारण फसल को भी बहुत फायदा होता है। यानी मधुमक्खी एक प्रकार के आपका फार्म लेबरर के रूप में भी काम करती है। तो आपके मधुमक्खी के इस काम के कारण किसानों को समझ आ रहा है कि आप उनकी भी मदद कर रहे हैं।
सर बिल्कुल, जब भी हम आसपास आज मधुमक्खी डाल रहे हैं, हमारे घर वाले बोल रहे हैं आपको जमीन चाहिए हम दे देंगे, आपको कोई सपोर्ट चाहिए हम दे देंगे। आपका ही फायदा नहीं जा रहा है बल्कि हमारा भी फायदा हो रहा है। इसलिए जब भी हम राजस्थान में जा रहे हैं, हम कोटा में जा रहे हैं सर, हम यूपी में जा रहे हैं, वहां हमें जमीन मुफ्त में दिया जाता है ताकि आप यहाँ पे लगाइए, हमारा फसल भी बढ़ेगा, आपकी आमदनी भी बढ़ेगी।
नाजिम जी, आप इतना सारा करते हैं, एक सुझाव मैं देता हूं और आप ऑनलाइन भी करते हैं। सेंट्रल एशिया में जो हनी होता है, उन देशों में हनी, क्योंकि वहां भी ये हिंदू कुश पर्वत है सारे, वहां भी हिमालय की तरह ही सारी पर्वतमालाएं हैं, वहां की हनी का एक प्रकार अलग है और मैं मानता हूं कि आप ऑनलाइन उसका स्टडी कीजिए। दूसरा, वे लोग अलग अलग टेस्ट के लिए अलग अलग फूलों के बीच में अपनी मधुमक्खी का पालन करते हैं। उसके कारण जो हनी मिलता है, उसकी स्मेल, उसका टेस्ट उस फ्लावर जैसा मिलता है, तो उनको बहुत बड़ा मार्केट मिलता है। मैं चाहूंगा, भारत में भी बहुत प्रयास हो रहे हैं, उत्तराखंड में भी बहुत सफलतापूर्वक प्रयास हुए हैं और नाजिम जी आपने भी जरूर ऐसा किया होगा।
सर हमारे जो कश्मीर का हनी है, बाकी जो स्टेट्स का, न्यूजीलैंड का, जो अदर कंट्रीज का हनी है, हमारे भारत का हनी इस टाइम पे नंबर 1 है। हमारे कश्मीर का एकेशिया पूरी डिमांड है सारी वर्ल्ड की सर। हमारे एकेशिया सर पहले 400 रुपया केजी था, इस टाइम पे वो 800 रुपए, 1000 रुपए तक पहुंच गया।
नाजिम जी, आपसे बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा। आपने जो पहल की उसमें बहुत स्पष्टता और साहस चाहिए और आपको स्टूडेंट लाइफ में इतना विजन आपका क्लियर होना, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। मैं आपके माता पिता को भी प्रणाम करता हूं जिन्होंने आपकी ऐसी परवरिश की और आपने हर चुनौती को चुनौती देते हुए, डट करके सामना करते हुए आप प्रगति कर रहे हैं। आप देश के नौजवानों को दिशा दे रहे हैं, वरना वो इंतजार करके बैठता है मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है। आपने इंतजार नहीं किया, आपने छोटी सी शुरुआत की और आप आज देश की ताकत बन रहे हैं। मेरी तरफ से नाजिम आपको और आप जैसे युवाओं को मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
थैंक यू सर। सर एक गुजारिश है मेरी सर, एक बार सर मैंने 2023 में KVIC के डिपार्टमेंट में सर मैंने वहां पे एक सेल्फी ली थी, सेल्फी विथ मोदी जी, मगर आज मुझे जी चाहता है कि सर उस सपने को भी मैं साकार करूं, उसको भी पूरा कर सकूं।
चलिए, मैं कोशिश करता हूं, मैं SP जी के लोगों को बोलता हूं, बाद में आपको इस तरफ ले आएंगे, जरूर मैं आपके साथ सेल्फी लूंगा।
शुक्रिया सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। इस टाइम पे मुझे ये 60,000 रुपए मिले, मेरे घर वाले भी बहुत खुश हो गए, मैं भी मोटिवेशन से फुल ऑफ पावर हो गया कि मुझे 60,000 रुपए मिले। और धीरे धीरे करके ये सफर मैंने सर आगे लिया और धीरे धीरे करके मैंने 200 बॉक्स अपना कायम किए। वो 200 बॉक्स कैसे हो गए? मैंने उस टाइम पे एक सहारा लिया PMEGP का। PMEGP के तौर मुझे 5 लाख रुपए मिले और मैंने अपना एक कारोबार बढ़ाया। और 2020 में मैंने सर अपनी वेबसाइट खोली और वेबसाइट खोलने के बाद धीरे धीरे मेरा एक बड़ा ब्रांड बन गया। और ब्रांड बनने के बाद हमने ऑनलाइन हजारों केजीज के शहद भेजे। मेरी वेबसाइट पे 2023 में 5000 केजी शहद बिके हैं। और धीरे धीरे करके ये सफर आगे बढ़ा सर। मैंने 2000 मधुमक्खी के बक्से बना लिए और मेरे साथ मैंने अकेला ही काम नहीं किया। मैंने सोचा खुद ही मैं अपना बेनिफिट नहीं लूंगा, मैं और को बढ़ावा दूंगा, अपनी यूथ को इसके साथ जो
Pakistan's newly elected parliament approved Shehbaz Sharif as Prime Minister on Sunday. This ushers in a second term for the junior Sharif and caps weeks of upheaval following a disputed election victory. He will also be heading a government facing multiple economic and political challenges that are likely to leave the country in turmoil for a number of years to come. Shehbaz Sharif's selection also brings to the forefront the role of the all-powerful military in Pakistan. The generals have long been accused of being seen as the invisible hand guiding Pakistan's politics. This time too, the army was accused of engineering the results of the election. Analysts say that the public confidence in Shehbaz Sharif's government is already low even before it's begun its first day in office. Shehbaz Sharif secured 201 votes in the National Assembly, while his closest rival Omar Ayub, who is a supporter of the imprisoned former Prime Minister Imran Khan, managed to get 92 votes. Before the voting began, Shehbaz Sharif arrived at the main National Assembly hall, accompanied by his older brother Nawaz Sharif. Remember, Nawaz Sharif, the senior Sharif, is a free-time former Prime Minister. He has also been elected as a member of the National Assembly. The Sharif brothers sat together in the front row. It was a reminder to everybody who was watching that the elder Sharif, who is far more regarded in Pakistan than his younger brother, who also happens to be a three-term former Prime Minister, remains just as influential today, and he's likely to wield power behind the scenes. The proceedings in the National Assembly began with a loud protest in support of Imran Khan. Several of Khan's supporters sat in front of the Speaker's dais. They started chanting slogans, they were waving pictures of Imran Khan. For a good hour or two, the National Assembly hall reverberated with slogans in support of Imran Khan, the former cricket star turned politician. Sharif's party, the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, which is named after his elder brother, which he currently leads with his entire family, happens to be the current preferred political party of the military establishment. But here's the catch. The PMLN was not the party that won the most number of seats in the national elections which were held a month ago. That honor went to independent candidates who were aligned with Imran Khan's Tehreek-e-Insaf, the PTI, a party which lost its election symbol just weeks before the polls. Now, despite that upset, which was seemingly a rebuke to the all-powerful military establishment, the PMLN was still able to cobble together a coalition with other major parties to lead the new government. Bilawal Bhutto's party, which is the third largest in Pakistan, the Pakistan People's Party, or the PPP, will be providing issue-based support to the ruling coalition. Shehbaz Sharif's government will face lingering doubts over its legitimacy after there were mounting accusations that the military had tampered with the vote count. In many constituencies, the vote count was completely delayed or just stopped for a number of hours before the results turned on its head. In fact, one of the election chiefs in one of the largest provinces resigned from his post, saying that he was forced to tamper with the results. But the longevity of the Sharif coalition government depends on just one thing, and that is support from the current military chief, General Asim Munir. As things stand today, the military leadership and the coalition parties who form the Sharif government have no option. They have to stick with each other, because if even one side falters, then they both stand to lose. So as long as General Asim Munir is the army chief of Pakistan, the Shehbaz Sharif government will survive. That seems to be the prevalent thinking in the corridors of power in Islamabad. The other big challenge, and perhaps even bigger than the political challenge, is the economic one. The country's economy has teetered on the brink of collapse for years now. Inflation reached a record high of double digits last year. Eventually, there was a bailout from the International Monetary Fund, and that is what kept the economy afloat. But that program is set to expire within this month, and the new government will need to secure an additional long-term IMF bailout. Now, that bailout, the details of which have to be worked out possibly before the end of this month, that deal would have to be in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 billion US dollars. Now, if that is the case, if the IMF is going to sign off on such a huge check, then they will most likely require new austerity measures that will be demanded of the new government. And if the new government has to impose austerity measures, that could in turn bring forth more public resentment and more protests. There is also the political challenge, the political opposition, which is in the form of PTI supporters who would want to exploit the public discontent. The party's supporters who've been energized by the recent election success, they may also take to the streets to press the government to release Imran Khan. Imran Khan is currently serving multiple sentences on multiple charges that include leaking official secrets and even taking part in an un-Islamic marriage. Cumulatively, all these sentences add up to more than 30 years in prison. So basically, he's going to be spending the rest of his life in jail unless the army decides to overturn those decisions and decides to pardon Imran Khan. Khan, for his part, of course, has vowed to appeal against these convictions. He says many of these cases, these charges, these convictions are politically motivated. His party has promised to legally challenge all these sentences in higher courts. The new Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, speaking after the vote that happened in Parliament, said that the country faced huge challenges and it also had huge opportunities. He noted that the economy remained the key challenge. He vowed to bring in new investment as well as to create a business-friendly environment. Shehbaz Sharif, whose first term as Prime Minister came in April of 2022. At that time, controversially, members of the National Assembly, the parliamentarians, had voted out Imran Khan in a no-confidence motion that was deeply contested. He's known to be a good administrator, Shehbaz Sharif. He was the Chief Minister of Punjab before this. He's overseen several big infrastructure projects in the largest province in the country, Punjab. Now, in contrast to his brother Nawaz Sharif, Shehbaz has never fallen out with the army. Nawaz Sharif has had multiple fallouts with the army. Shehbaz, on the other hand, has largely been differential towards the army. In his previous term as Prime Minister, the military further entrenched its role in the government. It increased its influence over policy making, most notably in June of last year. Sharif, then Prime Minister, had approved the creation of a government council whose job was to attract foreign investment. It was a move that was widely seen as an effort by the military to have a more direct say in economic policy. Because the feeling in the military was that elected civilian governments were simply not able to get a grip on the economic crisis that was looming in the country. The Army Chief, General Asim Munir, was made a member of that body. That body is called the Special Investment Facilitation Council. Sharif also approved another policy under which the country's intelligence agency, the ISI, was given such widespread powers that it could either approve or deny official appointments and postings. That has amplified the kind of pervasive sway that the military now has over the civilian services of Pakistan. In the wake of the election upset, analysts say that the military's future role is still an open question. But most people agree that a weak civilian government will actually make it easier for the generals to reassert their control. They could possibly wield an even heavier hand politically in the days ahead. Clearly, Shehbaz Sharif in his second term too is going to find a road that is paved with thorns, unless of course there can be an economic miracle and also a political miracle.
Co-presented by JK Tyre Ranger Series. Stay wild at heart. Co-powered by AU Small Finance Bank. बदलाव हमसे है.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Russia have a new battlefield. It's Africa. The two countries are battling it out in the Sudan. Ukrainian forces clashing with Russian-backed rebels. How did Ukraine get involved in the Sudan? Why is Zelensky supporting military leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan? How was this unlikely alliance born? We answer all of these questions tonight. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is surging. It hit an all-time high of 69,000. Does this make crypto a good investment for you? Should you be buying cryptocurrency? Vietnam and Australia have upgraded ties. We tell you why this is another success for Hanoi's bamboo diplomacy. Trump seems to be confused between Biden and Obama. Why is OpenAI battling it out with Elon Musk? Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Kashmir to highlight developmental projects. We'll discuss that. How South Korea became a cultural superpower, and how do microplastics end up in the arteries of people? All this and more coming up. The headlines first. China slams the US, hails ties with Russia. Foreign Minister Wang Yi accuses the US of trying to suppress China, claims Beijing's actions in the South China Sea are reasonable. China's top diplomat also warns Taiwan against seeking independence.